Hey Planet Dwellers, so I'm finally on my way to Stygian Gallery to be tattooed by the Tony Mancia, and I'm super excited. I've been waiting for this forever, well, for about a year, so I'm really excited. I made sure that the Airbnb was closed so I wouldn't be late for my appointment. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to sit long enough for it. I hope I don't punk out, but either way, it's going to be a really good day. Okay, so end of day one, heading home, frickin' exhausted. I sat for 7 hours. It was a 7-hour session. Can't believe I got through it. Really hurt near the end, but it's looking awesome. Yeah, don't fucking touch it. And now, instead of going to bed and getting some rest, I'm going to see a friends band from Toronto playing in Atlanta.
Dead Set Society, baby.
Yes, Dead Set Society. I'll see their set and then I'm gonna come home and go to bed. So I just finished getting tattooed, end of the second day. So tired and a lot of pain. There were so many beautiful pictures to look at, love the paintings. Staff were amazing, everyone was so nice. I'm so happy with the tattoo. Hi everyone, so it has now been 3 weeks, maybe just a little over 3 weeks since I went to Atlanta to get my tattoo. So I've had some time to kind of think about and reflect on the experience that I had, and I remember at the end of it being very elated, kind of like on cloud nine. I was in a very strange mental state. I don't know if anyone else has experienced this before. From getting a tattoo 2 days in a row, the first session was 7 hours and the second session was 5 hours. So that had been the most time I've ever sat for a session before. It was really interesting thinking about my pain thresholds because most of the other sessions that I've had have been 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, and then there's time for the tattoo to heal before going again for the next session. But when you're traveling, that's not much of an option. Like, you kind of have to sit. It's not like I could be like, oh, I'll just wait another week, give it some time. Like, I couldn't do that. So it was like, you need to sit for 7 hours. And I managed to get through it. I was pretty surprised, but there was a strange feeling afterwards, and I was really elated. And even at the end of it, when I was settling up with Charlie, the studio manager, like, I couldn't even do basic math. I don't know what it was. Like I said, it was a strange mental state. I was just like, I was so happy from the experience. I wasn't in my right mind. It was so weird. I don't know if anyone else has had that experience when you've sat for a really long session, if you feel like a little mentally strange afterwards. I don't know. Comment below if that's happened to you. Tony was amazing. I loved getting tattooed by him. He was very light-handed and he worked pretty quickly. The gallery itself was gorgeous. It was such a beautiful space and everyone was super nice. If you ever get a chance to go to Atlanta, go to Stygian Gallery. It is beautiful. I would definitely recommend anyone getting tattooed by Tony. He is awesome. I was also really happy at the end because I loved the piece itself and I was so happy with it. And it's one of these things that it kind of changes you. I know that sounds strange, and again, if anyone else has kind of experienced this, and that's kind of why I have been getting tattooed kind of later in life. I also now have the resources to do it. I typically deal with a lot of shit throughout the day. You know, if I'm working on my thesis, I'm dealing with a lot of poverty issues, and my volunteer work, all of this stuff is really intense, and it's hard to push on when you're fighting a system. So sometimes you need things for yourself, and so it's part of my self-care. I know other people with tattoos who have dealt with this issue many times with judgments from people. I've experienced it too already, and I'm not heavily tattooed, but I've experienced that judgment of either like not understanding, or just how could you do that to yourself? How could you spend your money on that, or whatever it is? And if you don't understand why people do what they do with their bodies, that shouldn't matter. If I'm not harming anyone in the process, then it shouldn't matter what I do with my body. And so for me, part of my self-care is seeing beautiful art on my body. I look down at the tattoo and I just smile. I'm so happy. It's you know, it's an idea that's now physically manifested, and through my ideas and through the artist's ideas, and it just becomes this amazing thing that I can have with me all the time that makes me really happy. And part of that, with self-care, you need that energy to push forward and to get through life sometimes when it gets really shitty and not many other people understand what you're going through. For other people, they get a tattoo, whatever, they move on. But for me, it really means something, and it really makes me happy, and I love it, and artwork is beautiful. And to have it on my body, I am down. So no one should really judge you. Okay, so I want to show you my tattoo now. It is a little bit red still. Not that arm. It is a little bit red still because I do have sensitive skin, and sometimes it's just my arms get red. That's what happens. So this is Vampire Bat Berry. We named him Berry. It was Berry, and then it was Emerald, and then it was Bemerald, and then now it's just Berry. It's Berry the Vampire Bat, who is so cute. I love him so much. And the detail on this fucker is amazing. Then we go down to the cemetery with the gates. What? And then we have some candles. And you'll see a lot of the vines. So there's smoke, but there's also vines for the pumpkin patch. What? So yeah. Pumpkin patch with the vines and the leaves and the candles in the cemetery, and Berry the Bat. So I hope you enjoyed the short tour of my half sleeve, the Halloween inspired half sleeve. It was interesting because I wasn't totally sure what I wanted. I just knew what elements I wanted. I wanted the pumpkins, I wanted the cemetery gates, and originally we had thought maybe raven, but then went with the vampire bat, which is amazing. I love that choice. And then the candles, and oh, the mood of it was awesome, and that's what Tony wanted. He wanted kind of like less Party City Halloween and more of like the mood of Halloween, which is exactly what I wanted. Thanks so much for watching, and stay spooky.